Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel as we conclude our week of Shang-Chi Marvel Legends Wave unboxing as we build the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. And then once we get this built, we're going to rank the whole wave in order of favorite to least favorite. So hopefully you stay tuned for all that. But remember, for all your Marvel Legends needs and a whole lot more, hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. So now it's time to put this Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure together. You know, Build-A-Figures, sometimes they go together really easy. Sometimes they fight you every inch of the way. We'll see where Mr. Hyde goes. Obviously, Mr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. This is what it's based on. I have vague memories. This is a very deep cut for me. I remember seeing him in a couple of comics back in the day, just a couple pictures, but I don't know anything about his story arc. I got to think he probably drank a potion like Mr. Hyde, all that kind of stuff. Brought into comic book form. I believe he is an Avengers villain for the most part, but I think he's been around in some different comics and stuff like that. But it's an interesting Build-A-Figure. It really is a deep cut, but we're getting a lot of deep cut Build-A-Figures out there, which I am a collector, appreciate that. Some lesser collectors or maybe others out there don't appreciate these. They want, you know, the same stuff over and over. But I like to blend out that universe. Get us more characters. More characters, the better. So I appreciate stuff like this. I do understand the frustrations with some collectors with this one, as it is a comic-based Build-A-Figure in a predominantly Marvel Legends wave of movie characters. So I understand frustrations with that a little bit out there. But it is what it is. Let's put them together. And we got the big torso first. So we're going to start with that. I usually find it best to start with the legs. Those are usually what fights me the most. And this one's not going to be any different. Sometimes you do have to heat these guys up. I think I got it in there. I think I did. You got to wait for that pop, and sometimes it takes a while. All right, good enough, I guess. We'll see if we get that other leg. Oh boy, he's fighting me. Sometimes heating these up isn't a bad thing to do. He might need a little heat on those legs. Just not popping in as easy as it should. Oh, come on, watch me fight it. Well, I think I got it. Yeah, he's not totally in there. It's like almost in there. I might just have to call it good enough and then fix it after I get it together. All right, got that in. Now let's put the arms in. The arms are always the easiest to go in, so they just snap in like so. Snap in like so. All right, now the head is what makes it official. So we'll pop that bad boy head on. Whoa, whoa, we're on a roll. The heads are going to roll, like Judas Priest once sang. All right, can I pop it on? There it is, he's on. All right, Mr. Hyde, and then we got the big cane that he comes with. I love that there's dents and scratches and indentation, like he's beat some people over the head with this cane a time or two. Put this in this hand. There it is. Look at that. Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. So I don't know anything about Mr. Hyde, like I said. I don't know a whole lot about the history of the character. But it is a cool looking figure. I mean, he's got the bloodshot eyes. Allergy season has taken over. It's taken me over. I can barely breathe the last month. But allergies definitely got to him. He's got the red eyes. But, you know, he turns into Mr. Hyde. He gets the hairy knuckles. He's a big, giant figure. You guys know me, I love giant figures, I love big figures. So this fits in right in the collection. When I first saw this one that it was coming out, my mind immediately went to the Gray Hulk Mr. Fix-It figure. I have that right here. And I thought there'd be a lot of reuse with this one, but not as much as I thought. The legs seem to be the same. The legs and feet are the same. The hands are different. The chest is different. And the heads are obviously different. So it's got a little bit of reuse, but not as much as I thought it would eventually or at first. So about the same height. Mr. Hyde's just a hair bigger. I think this figure could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot bigger, a little bit more gray as well. Between the two, I probably like the Mr. Hyde. Even though I'm not familiar with the Mr. Hyde character, I just like the looks of it. I like the total body structure of it. It's a big figure. It looks cool. It looks menacing. It'll really stand out on a shelf. So I give the Duke to Mr. Hyde on this one. So there's the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. Now we got to take the rest of the line, including Mr. Hyde, and I'm going to put it from my favorite to least favorite in the set. All right, everybody, we've got them ranked in order from my favorite to least favorite, and I'm going to go through and explain my reasons why, if there is really any reasoning to this or a method to the madness, but let's do it. So maybe no surprise to most people that know me and follow along on the channel. You guys know I love big characters. I love the Build-A-Figure concept. And even though I'm not really super familiar with the character, I really like the looks of this Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. Just mean, menacing. He's got like a bowler hat on. Just looks like something out of the Jack the Ripper era. Just very cool. And I could see me having him almost like in a Hellfire Club type room battling some of the Avengers or something like that. So Mr. Hyde gets the Duke. He gets the #1 spot for me. But coming in at a closer second than I would anticipate is Death Dealer. I really liked, I knew when I saw this wave announced, I figured he'd be my favorite, and he held true to that spot. I would have liked to see maybe a couple of open some fisted hands for him, but all in all, a very cool figure. It'd be great if those daggers came out of the back as well, but you got to take what you can get at some points. But you know what they say, face-painted wrestlers, face-painted figures, face-painted anything, I'm all in. He's got that Kabuki face paint. Brings me back to my childhood with the great Kabuki. And, of course, the great Muda out there. So it reminds me of that. Also with a little bullseye thrown in and then dealing death every day with a cool name like that. Sign me up all day long. I like the Death Dealer. But then we go on from Death Dealer, then we go to Iron Man, which was a bit of a sleeper here. I wasn't sure what to think. I actually like the AI Tony Stark head better than I thought I would. But for me, I'm going to have to display him this way. This is really my Iron Man. I talked about in the video. If you missed it, go back, check it out. But I unboxed it. I talked about it as a kid, looking through the comic shop and seeing older comics out there with this suit. I was very accustomed to this suit. There was a very famous Captain America Iron Man battle on a cover. I remember him being about this color in this suit. So special place for this Iron Man for me. I like this one a whole lot. Then after that, Wenwu. I was a little bit surprised here with the Wenwu from the movie edition figure. Amazing head sculpt on here. The black and the blue really pop. Just a cool looking figure, and I like the rings being on the arms. Gives him an extra toughness look to him, I guess we'll call it. So he comes in at #4. Now, the back half, it really could have went any way. Coming in at #5 here was a little bit of a sleeper. I figured this would be more towards the bottom, but for better, I guess, for good or bad, whatever you want to call it, she was a little higher than I thought she would. And I'm a sucker for white and black paint applications when they work, when there's no overspray, when it doesn't bleed. It's simple but classic, and it really catches my eye, so I really like that look. Great face sculpt here. I love they give us all the extra hands. I love that we get the scorpion type rope. I would have liked to have seen another version of that rope as well, kind of extended. Have both of those in there. Maybe get rid of an extra hand or something. I don't know. But I do like this Xialing a lot more than I thought I would. So good for her. She made it in the top, the bottom of the top, I guess we'll call it. Then we got Civil Warrior. Yes, it's a repaint with some new stuff. The colors really pop on this one. I figured if I would have had to guess, I would have had this one ahead of Xialing, but it didn't end up following that way. I like the Civil Warrior, but just not quite as much as her. But I love the new shield. I love the paint application. I love the coloring of this one. Taking reuse from an older figure and making it truly new again. So I do like that. I think the Hasbro team did a fantastic job on that one. Then the bottom two. Unfortunately, Shang-Chi's down here from the second to the bottom. I know he's the star of the actual movie. I don't know. I like the looks of the character. Everything looks good. The face sculpt looks good. Just not a lot of coolness factor, I guess, to him. And that could change once I see the movie. Once I see the movie, I might say, oh, he's moving way up. He was so cool. And, okay, I get why he looks like this. And I get this. And that kind of helps. You know, it's like Iron Man. I know, here's my Iron Man. This is why I like this figure. And it's a cool representation of this. This is just a figure to me right now. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't properly really rate this one. When I think Shang-Chi, this is the Shang-Chi I think of. You know, this is the one I'd prefer him to look more like this in the movie, but I understand why they don't do that. This is more cartoon. This is basically Quick Kick from G.I. Joe. I wish I was smart enough and good enough to turn this into a custom Quick Kick for my shelf, but maybe one day. But Shang-Chi, maybe he does a disrobe and he gets into this type of outfit in the movie. Maybe this is just one version. We'll see. But for right now, he's just down here. And then finally, last but not least, is Katie. You probably saw this one coming. I have no idea about Katie. Xialing, Katie, never heard of him in my life. Katie, I have no anything to her, this figure. This is just like a female figure to me. There's nothing to this. You could say this is for any line in the world, and I'd say, oh, okay. I have no recollection of her in the comics, any history, any attachment to this figure. Even with this weird Morris-type creature, which is a cool addition here. I like that. Just doesn't do anything to me. But just like Shang-Chi, maybe once I see the movie and everything gets rolling, maybe I'll have a better feel of this Katie character. But right now, I mean, she's nothing to Mr. Hyde to me. Mr. Hyde looks cool. It's a big figure. I've at least have some history with it. I've heard of the character. I've seen pictures of the character in the past. But Katie, nothing. I got nothing with her. So that's just the way the old cookie crumbles, as some might say. So that's my ranking of the Shang-Chi Marvel Legends wave. You guys in the comments, let me know your rankings. How would you put these in order? Did I get it right? Would you do a different order? You tell me your rankings. Tell me your order in the comments. Tell me your thoughts on this. Don't forget to like the page, of course. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You've made it this far. You've watched all these videos. Why aren't you subscribed? So make sure you hit the old subscribe, turn the old notification bells on, give it the old retweet, share it, all that kind of fun stuff out there. So there it is. The old Shang-Chi Marvel Legends wave is in the books. So for all the characters here, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.